could all rise. Mr. Miller is going to offer the occasion. If we remain standing afterwards for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Shall we pray? Father in heaven, we're thankful for the opportunity we have just now to come to you in prayer. Father, you've taught us to come to you in prayer when we have good things to pray about, when we have bad things to pray about. Father, we just trust you with that. Father, just be with this group tonight as they meet. Father, we pray, Father, for good decisions and open minds and hearts as they get into the heart of the situation. Father, may they be wise in all that they do. Father, we know that there are many in our community who do good deeds and good things each and every day. And Father, I would just pray to you that just continue to bless their work that they do. Allow them to make the best choices that they can and do the best work that they can. And Father, we're just thankful for your Son, Jesus, who came to this earth to provide for us abundant life and also, Father, eternal life. And just be with us throughout this night. In Christ's name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. Call this meeting to order. First item of business is our minutes from January 9th. They've been emailed out. Has everybody had an opportunity to review them? If so, are there any additions or corrections to those minutes from the 9th of January?
Your Honor, if there are no additions or corrections, I move we approve the minutes as we received them.
The motion to approve has been seconded by Kay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Send them down for your signature, please. As far as mail goes, there's one item here. We received in the mail an invoice for the County Council Association in the amount of $140. What's the council's desire to do with this? Do they want to continue this membership of this association?
I'd say yes.
I don't know what the benefits of it are. I don't have any reason to object to it or any reason to support it. I really don't care.
Kind of with you on that too.
Has anyone used any of their services? Have you, Kate? You find it beneficial?
Okay, no, this is not AIC.
Oh, what is it?
It's the Indiana County Council Association. It's something, it's a different association.
Oh, it's not AIC? I thought you were talking about AIC.
Have we been a member of this organization before? Or is
Yes.
this something new?
No, we've been a member,
I've never heard from them.
but I couldn't find anything related to them other than their invoice.
Oh,
The Indiana County Council Association.
Indiana Association of County Councils.
So if there's no other, like, history of it, we can't show
Yeah.
how we've ever utilized them.
I can't.
I don't know that we should be a part of
But
it.
I would say,
you could send their invoice back to them without postage. They can pay the postage to get it back.
Is that a motion?
You know how it is around here, Gary. There's always somebody trying to sell us something.
Yeah,
When
you're
we need
exactly
it.
right.
So I
Does this
would,
help anybody? Well, then let me see that. That's the book that they prepare with all the different departments and wages and,
The stat book, I thought the stat book came from
Farm Bureau.
Farm Bureau.
you get,
Now, see, that's AIC, that's different.
this is what just came up, this is it.
No, they're not the same thing. AIC dues are over $2,000 and they cover the entire county, not just the county council. They cover commissioners and all the offices.
We changed it.
How much are these dues?
It's $140, $20 a piece for the 7 of you.
You're not gonna get much for $20, Mark.
Did you find the website, Mike?
No, it pushed me to that other one that was the wrong one.
Well, I'd make a motion that we not pay that and ask them to give us information. I'd like to know why we should, what all they do. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So what are you saying, you wanna just table the issue until we find out what they
Yeah.
are, what they do for us?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Is this not 30? Do you know?
No,
Hmm?
I don't know.
Doesn't say anything on there. Well, I'd say since none of us can speak as to what, how it's benefited us, I would just assume, see a motion to not renew it, have them come in or somebody come in and talk to us about what the benefits are, so we understand it, because otherwise it's gonna be sitting past due until we meet again.
You have a motion and a second to
Okay,
table the thing until we can determine whether we really need
well,
them or not.
what I'm saying is it's gonna be past due by the time we meet again.
Maybe that'll hurt him.
Okay, we have a motion to table it, we have a second, any further discussion?
I second.
It's been seconded.
It's already been seconded.
So in the discussion, I would venture that we should address that it's not.
I didn't make the motion.
Mark made a motion.
Right, I said, I know that. I said I did not make the motion, so I can't change the motion. If Mark wants to modify it, he can.
Contact.
Otherwise, move on from the
Well,
vote.
that's what we'll do, but we're not gonna pay it tonight. Yeah, we're not gonna pay it. So that's what I want to do, is not pay it, find out what they're doing. And, you know, maybe next time we'll.
Not pay it and contact them.
I can do that. Contact them.
We just need a vote.
It's a little different than tabling it.
Yeah. It is.
Do you want to table it or not pay it?
Tabling it, we're not paying it, right? Because we're not going to.
Kind of same thing, but if we're just not paying it, we're not gonna, if you say you're not gonna pay it, you're not gonna deal with it anymore. So we're just gonna table it for right now. We have a second, we've had discussion. All those in favor of tabling it to our next meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
Nay?
Ayes have.
Because I think we should contact them. I mean,
We're going
You,
to.
Okay.
you for it or against?
I'm for not paying it.
Okay. 6 in favor of not paying, 6 ayes. Would you please, Jane, could you please reach out to them and
Yeah.
maybe get hold of one of those? Okay. County Attorney, do you have anything for us?
I do not.
Thank you. I'm going to skip right to the Commissioner's representative. Mr. Naylor, Commissioner Naylor, do you have anything?
The only thing that I might say that you passed a resolution of interest to purchase a piece of property adjacent to us. Last month or December, I can't remember which month it was, but we've progressed with that. We have our 2 appraisals, and we're currently through Colin will be in negotiations with the property owner. And that's really all the information I have at this time on that issue. I'm still Dale. In today's meeting, we come up with the hard numbers for a community crossing grant that we'll be needing for additional appropriation for match money for our paving program. And we'll be coming to you next month with the additional appropriation for that. And that'll be $300,000. And that'll be coming, we'll be asking to take that from the local road and street fund. So the paving program for 18 is progressing. I believe we have to have the bids, advertising or sign contract by 15th of April.
Signed contract.
Yeah, by 15th of April, so we're progressing with that as well.
Okay, thank you. I'm probably fairly confident nobody's had a chance to meet as a committee yet, correct? Okay, but we do have some business to take care of with as far as the committees go. Kay was not here at the last meeting due to illness. And Shirley had mentioned that she would like to step down from her chair position for the Wage and Salary Committee. And Holly was going to
I'm willing to step up.
chair that.
And Frank's going to come aboard.
Get to that. And Frank was going to step down from the Finance Committee and join your committee. And Shirley was going to join the Finance Committee. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. And then we had one other item. We had the alcohol and beverage position open. Frank and I did contact Barton Barker. He did express interest in wanting to fill that position. If it's okay with everybody, or if there's somebody else out there, we can discuss that. Otherwise, we need a motion to approve Barton for that.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion to approve Barton Barker as a representative for the Alcohol and Beverage Board. Any further discussion? Holly?
No.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay. Under new business, our 911 director, Mr. Baker, is here to give us a report. I think everybody got a folder of...
Yeah, you should have a copy, and put a copy in your box. If not, I have a couple extras. All right. As you know, we serve two police departments, Connersville PD, Fayette County Sheriff's Department, Connersville City Fire, and there's 3 stations, Glenwood, Everton, and Bentonville volunteer fire departments, Fayette County EMS, and their medical transfer service. We have 5 full-time employees and 11 part-time. As a just a helpful comment on that, the 2 guys on the bottom, Devin Munson and Kevin Perry, are back-to-back benchers. They might do a shift a month, roughly. Not very often, but they're there in case we need someone that absolutely has to go on a shift. Rolled radios, Motorola MCC 5500 consoles. Those were installed in 2011. There was a mandatory upgrade to P25. That has to do with 800 megahertz. At this moment, the vendor is ERS for our radios. The annual maintenance contract expires in May. Our 911 system is the vendor is in digital, and we have a backup phone. It's kind of interesting, the backup phone. It's no one, you forget it's there, but there's these 2 backup phones that sit on this shelf in the dispatch center that are in the event that the actual phones go down. So they're maintained by InDigital, and they are I believe they're run through the internet. I believe they're internet based, but they're nuclear option phones, and they're there, and that's helpful. Let's see. We also have text to 911. That is, you probably heard the radio ads. The radio ads with they say it's best to call, but when you need to, text. And so someone who's hearing impaired or someone who's needs to be very quiet but for safety reasons can text 911. And I'll show you in our stats in a little bit that we've had several of those this year. Last year they weren't able to keep those stats, but now that we were one of the first adopters of this technology, and we're able to do that now. It's also the wave of the future for hearing impaired people. They were using another system that's older that was harder for the dispatchers to communicate with them because they use a different language. They use a different type of English that's hard for a dispatcher to, especially when you don't receive a lot of those calls, which we don't. So now text is plain English, and it's just a lot easier to get them the help they need quickly. But again, they can use it. Anybody can use it in an emergency. Our recorder, it's Equiture is our vendor, and what that is, it records every single radio transmission, every single phone call going in and out of that our dispatch center. And a dispatcher on the console can actually play back. If they didn't hear something correctly, they can play it right back. And we have records of every call, and so those are asked for by lawyers. Those are asked for by officers for court cases and different things, and it's a record of everything that happens there. The computers we have each dispatch station has 4 computers and 5 monitors. They were replaced actually in 2017. That's a bad piece of information there. I got that clarified today. The third station is used for as a backup station. You can't run full dispatch from it, but we use it as a call center. If we get overloaded, someone can take calls and do a lot of the things there. Our computer-aided dispatch is there. It doesn't have NCIC and IDAX, so we use it for training also and for our quality assurance program. We have 2 computers, or 2 laptops in the office, and also a computer and a monitor, and that's used for the Equiture recording system. Everbridge mass notification system. It's for school closing, road closing, boil water advisories. Every volunteer fire call gets an Everbridge to go with it as a supplemental, so that in case they're out of radio range or something, they get that information. It just helps. And then fire, EMS, and police use it for various reasons. Good news about certifications. The Indiana 911 is our oversight and reporting agency. If you look them up on the internet, they're considered a quasi-governmental agency, and they have a $1.5 million fund that is now paying for our certifications and recertifications. If you average it out, they're probably going to save us about $3,000 a year by doing that. It fluctuates because we never know who's going to be coming in new and getting certified, and we also don't know. Then it's every 2 years for recertifications, and so wherever you fall on that cycle, so it's not an even number across the board year to year, but average about $3,000 a year in saving. And then the second great thing about that is we're going to be able to certify our part-time dispatchers in a particular certification that we were only able to certify the full-timers in. This is called APCO Telecommunicator 1, and so we're going to start the process of certifying all of them, so you're going to have better dispatchers. They're wonderful now, but they're going to just be even better. That's a good thing, all because of this particular program. They are just the full-time dispatchers and part-time receive PowerPhone, EMD, that's certification and recertification. That means that when someone calls with a medical emergency, they are trained to address the issues and use a flow chart and software to walk them into CPR or stop bleeding, different things, and give them good information while the EMS is on the way. NCIC, IDAX, and that's the National Crime Information Center. Indiana Data Communication Systems, basically all the, when you run a license or you run a warrant check, things like that, that's where that information comes from. That's free. They have to be certified in that. National Incident Management System through FEMA. And then we're going to reinstitute monthly in-house training, 2 hours a month. We're going to, this month, we're going to be recertifying in CPR. And then, like it says there, full-time dispatchers also receive APCO Public Safety Telecommunicator 1. Try to get everybody certified in that. The next bit of info is the call count, how many calls we got to 911. Now this is different than just than the calls for service, so I'll explain the difference. Wireless cell phones are the bulk. 2017, we received 9,219 911 calls from cell phones. And 2016, 10,295. Interestingly, 407 of those calls are from NSI phones. That means not in-service phones. That means someone who needed to call 911 could just have a charged phone that's not hooked up and call 911 on it and get us. Every once in a while you'll get one from a child playing with it, but most of those are legitimate 911 calls. Traditional business home phones, wired phones, 2017, 1389, 2016, 1568, and that's a trend because there's fewer and fewer wired landlines. Voice over internet phones, VoIP, 2017, 527, 2016, 540, pretty much the same. And then text to our 911 center. People that initiated a text to call for help for 911, 41, and in 2016 that data, they didn't record that data yet. And then text back where we are communicating with them, there were 97 from our 911 center this year. So total 911 calls, 11,373. In 2016 there were 12,492. Now the 2017 incidents, and that means everything from a VIN check or someone stole my bike to a 911 call, all the above, and to medical calls, to fire runs, and all that. Connersville Police Department, 12,816. Sheriff's Department, 4,819. EMS, 4,738. Connersville Fire, 1,523. Glenwood Fire, 180. Everton Fire, 485. Bentonville Fire, 183. Total incidents, 19,124. You may ask yourself why that math doesn't add up. There's actually more calls if you add up, total all those numbers up, but bear in mind that some of these calls, there were 3 agencies there. So you don't get 3 calls for that. It's 1 call. Does that make sense? And then you'll see a big long ledger size sheet that has our budget on it. This is not our budget. This is a report of our budget. It says 2017 annual PSAP expenditures and funding data collection. This is the report we submit to the state. And you'll see there's 2 funds. There's a statewide 911 fund, and then we also have the city contribution. And so the bottom line, about 2/3 of the way down, you'll see a total of $404,160.66, and that's an addition of those 2 numbers, the 312 and the 91. And then if there's any questions about how the surcharge happens and where that money comes from, you get, anytime someone buys a track phone or starts a cell phone contract on their monthly bill, there will be a surcharge that contributes to 911. So on your very last page, there's an explanation of that. It's a lot of stuff I just threw at you. Any questions?
I have a couple.
Okay.
you said your contract with ERS is coming up here in May.
Yes, sir.
Were you looking at somebody else?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And refresh my memory as to the reasons why.
Well,
I don't remember.
well, they have an annual maintenance contract. I've had other people come out and say we really don't need one. We do have some things on our antennas. The most important things in a radio are antenna, and one area where we are woefully inadequate is our antennas on top of my building that sends our signal out. And so they failed to waterproof any of at least two of our coax connections. That requires a 4-layer protection and when you don't do that, it causes oxidation and water and corrosion, and water gets into the lines and leaches up into the lines and ruins your coax cable, and that's happened. And another problem is that one of our coaxes is, we inspected it and the center pin fell out, it's supposed to be soldered, and so we effectively have no connected antenna in one location. So that is why. And then we also have an antenna turned upside down in the basement for city fire. It's a magnet holding it up to a water pipe, which is not correct. And so I thought that that's something that actually creates maintenance issues as opposed to prevents them. And so I figured that it's my responsibility to find a better vendor.
Who's Ron Best? Is that something Ron Best could? I'm not trying to.
No.
No, I mean, is that something he could do? He's local.
I don't know. I don't know if they do that kind of radio stuff anymore. I know years ago in the 90s, I know they did, and they were involved in, and I may be talking about the wrong person, but I think there was a group that were involved with emergency radios in Fayette County. But I think they might just be doing mainly phones and security systems now.
Right. But
Yep.
if they're working with coax,
Yeah.
I mean, it might be worth a call
Yep.
to see if something you could do, local
Yeah.
resource.
I hear you.
I'm not pushing them
No,
one or
no.
the other. You
and
know
they-
your business better than I do.
And they also have a way. There's a way to test the degradation of the coax by. I'm not sure what the device is, but they're able to check to see how bad it is.
Mhm.
And it's been that. I know it's been that way for at least a year, or obviously since installation.
Right.
So whenever those were installed, they never waterproofed them. And we also have some antenna placement issue problems, where obviously the one in the basement, but also the ones that are on our roof are positioned in a way that would cause reflection, which causes interference and static. And so our chief complaint is usually static and things that would be associated with a bad antenna.
Right.
And so I am very eager to get it fixed, as you can imagine.
There was another contract that we had that was kind of a go-between between Spillman and,
VIA.
yeah. And we were told by Spillman that a couple of years ago, we really don't need that.
Yeah.
That they can provide the same support.
I'm not sure how much that has to do with city police, and I'll have to add, Jackie Pennington is the Spillman person. She's also a part-time dispatcher, so I can find out from her. She has explained to me why VIA is in there, but I'll talk to her if you'd like me to. And see
It
if
would,
that's-
because it's
Yeah,
an expense we could probably do without.
right.
And Spillman's ready to,
We didn't pay VIA last year, we didn't do that.
okay.
That's right. That's right. Was it like $5,000?
Yes, we
Yep.
did not pay
Yep.
them.
And as far as your
Because we had-
I'll find out further
Thank you.
about the status, yeah.
And as far as your certifications, how are you documenting that? And
They get a certificate, and so we'll get a copy of the certificate, put it in our file, in that person's training file, and then we'll take one to the auditor.
Okay.
Another thing we're gonna start doing, there's an ISO audit that they audit fire departments, and it's an insurance service organization, I think what it's called. And they set a rating for your county, and it's fire and your dispatch and your utilities, and how fast you can pump water and all that. We just had our checkup audit, And there are some areas that we can fix in dispatch that will help our number. And what that does is it lowers people's insurance rates, and it ups property values. It's a good thing. And anytime you can buy points there, not buy them, but earn them by performing and improving things. So one of those things is our quality assurance program, which means we're going to pull dispatch, the CAD, the computer aided dispatch printout randomly on every person, and check it for quality, and also pull recordings and check those for quality, and then have an assessment of the employee quarterly. And that's going to help us. It's going to help us have better dispatching, and it's going to help us to be better rated too. Coming up, that's part of the training and certifications.
Okay,
Okay,
very good report, thank you.
thank you, sir.
Anybody have any questions for him?
Very good report.
Thanks. Okay, transfers, additional deductions. We have an additional appropriation for the cooperative extension. They're looking for $5,567. They would like to purchase a new copier to replace their current copier. And that's an additional appropriation.
Yes. Hello.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Yep, I'm
Were you
here.
hiding behind there?
What's that?
Were you hiding behind the
Oh,
phones?
yeah.
Good to see you, sorry.
Good to see you too. Sorry, I just came to give any more information. I have a stack of quotes as well, if any of you are interested in seeing. We've done quotes with Toshiba. We have the Office Shop gave us some quotes, and also Purdue has a contract with another company, so we got quotes from them as well. Basically, the story is our copier this past summer, when we have really high volumes of paper going through, was breaking down. I mean, basically every couple days or every week we would have the maintenance guy out there to fix up something, belts. I want to try to be proactive about this because it's the maintenance person told us that this coming year they wouldn't carry the parts for this copier anymore, so they'd have to special order them. So that would mean that our downtime would go from like 24 hours, 48 hours. We could get it fixed pretty quick because he keeps them all on hand. But come next year, he won't have them on hand anymore. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that we're going to need a copier. It would be, I think, preferable if we could get an additional appropriation, but if we can't get that, we're really going to need it this next budget here in time. So I just wanted to be a little bit proactive about that one.
Have you talked to Michael King at all?
Yes, he's the one who actually gave us the Toshiba connection, so we got those quotes from him.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can pass them around if anybody wants to see. We have.
Do you have one you like in particular?
Yes, the one that was mentioned, the Toshiba one, is how much is it? It's like a $5,000 copier. That one is color and black and white, and we just had a black and white printer. We did have a quote in there for just the black and white one as well. Also, we have a Goodwill trainee who works part-time at the courthouse, and he does a lot of our office work. And he's actually doing our newsletter currently in-house. So we got a quote from Brunsman's, and it was just over $500 that they were going to charge for printing our newsletter and getting it like folded and everything. And we have him doing that in-house now. And so that copier also would include a booklet folder. So it would save him some time, and then would just be putting on the stickers and getting them sent out the door. So it would decrease the time that he's spending on that type of newsletter.
You do that newsletter monthly?
No. We actually switched. We did it bi-monthly up until this year, and this year we switched to doing an overall extension newsletter twice a year. So we just have like a winter and a spring edition, and then we have additional mailings that are just specific to our program areas. So we'd have one specifically for agriculture, natural resources, another one specifically for the 4-H program, because sending things out for extension as a whole, a lot of people don't have connections in all our different program areas. So we just have an update twice a year for the whole.
Still your guy is saving you money.
Oh yeah, yes, and time. Yep. Also, it would make it look pretty professional too, having that booklet maker. We could make things that look a little bit more attractive, which helps catch people's attention. That's what we're trying to do, especially when we're talking about programming for youth that catches their eye, and it's helpful. Sorry, I gave you everything.
Well, I'm just looking through this.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Is there a reason that you went with the Toshiba versus the HP? I mean, HP is, I know, personal experience, easier to get cartridges for it. I'm looking at some of the quotes here, and one case is $4,800, and
Okay.
one's $53, and this one's $55. Is there a reason?
The real big difference for the one that we selected, it's more expensive because it has the booklet folder, and the other ones don't. And also one of I think the $4,000 one is a black and white. It doesn't have color, which it's not the end of the world. We could live without color. We've had no color up until now, so that, I mean, we have a small color printer. But it would be nice to have a copier because it's cheaper for the cartridges if you get it in a copier than in a printer. But yeah, those are the two real advantages, I guess, between like the $1,000 difference.
Well, the one thing I see, the other ones are color, but the booklet thing is what they don't have.
Right, right, yeah.
And that would make up for itself really in 1 year, because if they're paying $500, they have it outsourced to Brockman, or Brunsman, sorry.
Right. And in the
I
past,
didn't hear you saying it because I was looking at that.
and in the past they did have a better quote. Like I think in the past it was done for like more like 300 something. I could maybe negotiate it cheaper, but even so, within a year and a half, it would be worth
Right.
the cost.
If it helps any at all, I was in the building this morning for the commissioners meeting, and I did have an opportunity to talk to Michael King about Tiffany's copier problems, and he told me that the copier that she has repair problems that can't be fixed anymore. And you do have periods where you do a lot of printing in a very short
amount of time,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah,
Right around the county fair.
right.
Yep.
So in the future, it may be to your advantage to have Brunsman or someone do that, but he thought that the printer that they had chosen would be adequate for their needs. And he's our tech guru around here, and he had absolutely no objection to their choice of machines. But the repair issues with their current machine, he said they were not able to fix them, so I don't like spending that kind of money on copy machines any more than anyone else does, but I do realize you have to have something there, you know.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat, definitely. That's not the most glamorous thing to spend money on, but it's also a necessity and something that we use every day.
Yeah, and we did squeeze your budget pretty hard for 2018, and we didn't budget for a new copier for your department. Of course, at the time we was doing budgets, we didn't foresee this problem.
No.
So that's not your fault.
And another thing I just wanted to bring up too, we ended up having quite a bit left over that reverted back into the general fund. So our budget, from our budget at the end of the year, we ended up having $7,800 that were reverted back into the general fund. So there is some money that we weren't able to get appropriations for. Some of it was from, we lost our part-time, and I had her budgeted up until the end of December, but she ended up finding a new position because her job was going to be done the first of the year. So she actually left about 6 weeks earlier than we had budgeted for. So we had a little bit left over from that, and then also postage, because we didn't have our staff. We weren't able to send out the newsletters regularly like we do now. So that's another reason why we had some extra funds that were sent back. So maybe that can give a little bit of peace of mind or spending a bit on our office.
I've got a sheet here that shows you had a little over $7,800
Yep.
left in your budget last year that didn't get spent, so.
Yep. She also saved a lot of money, and made a lot of cuts. Probably one of the biggest the department had the most savings from her.
Okay. We're either gonna buy her a copier or not.
I'll make a motion to buy the.
I'll make a motion to approve the additional request from the
second
extension
it.
office.
We have a motion to approve the additional appropriation request in the amount of $5,567 to purchase a new copier. We have a second on it. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
That's your copier.
You want your
Thank you.
report back.
Now I don't have to come bug you at the budget hearing. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
And we got a couple 144s for the treasurer.
I am presenting a 144 for a part-time employee. Our former part-time employee homeschools her children. It was hard for her to stay committed to the position. The girl I have in mind now, her name is Darcy Ferreira. She'll be starting out at $8.66 an hour, so for part-time,
So it's just replacing someone that's left.
unfortunately.
I'll make a motion to move forward with allowing her to replace her staff.
We have a motion to approve the 144 for the treasurer. Is there a second?
Second.
Shirley seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the 144 for the treasurer, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you.
Animal control. How you doing?
Okay, so far. I am asking on the 144 to replace Christie that resigned. The guy's name that I would like to replace her with is Jackie Johnson.
Can you pull the microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that better for you?
Yes, much better.
Okay.
Thank
I'm a little nervous a little bit. It's from a new group. I'm for a full-time person because my other one resigned. And the guy's name that I would like to have is Jackie Johnson. Me and Bill Gray interviewed him and we interviewed several other ones, and we felt like he was the one that would fit the criteria better. I just need to see if I can get approval for that.
So it's a full-time going to
Yeah, it'll be a full-time. It'll be still a full-time person.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion that we approve his 144 to replace his staff.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the 144 for the animal control.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the 144 for animal control, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you.
It wasn't that bad.
Still a little nervous in front of a different group.
Okay, patron concerns. Step to the mic, please.
I'm Cecil Bell from Posey Township. We were in here about a year ago and we presented a program to you guys over the aquifer in Posey and Fairview Township. I was wanting to see if you guys have looked into it, have you done anything with it?
The aquifer would be the commissioners if there's anything.
Okay, well, I presented it as a group,
Okay.
so I was just, have you done anything with it?
We haven't, the committee, because it's not a county council responsibility.
Okay.
We're not trying to push it on the commissioners, but
Sure.
that is their area of responsibility. So we personally have not done anything with it.
Okay. One other question is, has NextEra or any of the wind energy companies filed for any permits at all?
not to my knowledge.
They were at a commissioners meeting last month,
Mhm.
and,
Commissioner meetings are hard for me to come to because of the timing.
yeah,
Gary, are you able to answer that at all?
The last bit of information that we received was last month from Nextera, and they give us guidelines of how they were going to run their transmission lines to the lines that they were going to attach to, switch to, and that's basically all the information that they give us at that meeting. And they're still looking at spring to summer for construction starts.
So have they applied for any permits at all?
I don't, you'd have to ask Bill about that, I don't know.
Thank you for the time.
Sorry, I don't have any better answers for you.
all right.
Anybody else? If not, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Is there a second? A second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of adjourning this meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, meeting adjourned.
Yes, we do.